Are you a family law firm owner constantly checking your competition's website? Are you preoccupied with beating your rivals down the street? The real threat isn't your competition, it's you and the limitations that you put on yourself. In this video, I'll cover 3 moves that will transform your family law firm and open it to massive growth. That is 1, avoid the competition trap. 2, the power of internal focus. And 3, looking forward with an abundance mindset. Well, hello, my name is Jeff Hughes and I'm the CEO of Sterling Lawyers. We are a 25 plus attorney, family law firm doing over 15 million in revenue. And my purpose here is to help other family lawyers build the practice of their dreams. And in our early days, I was obsessed with being the biggest. I wanted to build the biggest law firm in the state, then the biggest law firm in the Midwest, then the biggest law firm in the country. I just thought about it all the time, and I cared so much about getting there from a top line perspective. And to feel that, I constantly was looking at the competition. What were they doing? I would study their websites, try to dissect their strategies, look at their market footprint, all those sort of things. And that mindset was not healthy. I was focused too much on them versus just worrying about our own firm and getting better. Then along the way, as I began to mature, I started to realize that was an unhealthy way to think about building our law practice. And a much healthier, much more effective way was to build our firm from focusing internally, building capabilities, and worrying about things that we could control. And it crystallized for me when I heard a story at the Chick-fil-A headquarters. I was down there for an event, and Truett Cathy was speaking. And Truett Cathy's the founder of Chick-fil-A. And at that time, he's now passed, but at that time, he was in his advanced years of his life, and he was telling a story where Chick-fil-A kind of went through a crisis during their growth through the years. And they were in a board meeting, they were talking about this, and they were getting pressure from all sides, competitive pressure from KFC, from I think Boston Chicken. Just a lot of money was coming into their space, their chicken fast food space, and they were starting to feel the pinch. And they were debating, how can they get bigger? What must happen for the firm to grow? I remember Truett telling the story, and he said, I listened to this for a while and all the back and forth, and finally my frustration boiled over. And I began to slam my fist down, bam, 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 to get everyone's attention. And the room just fell completely quiet because this was completely out of character for Truett Cathy. And he said, team, if we get better, we will get bigger. And I thought about that. Getting better certainly doesn't come from watching your competition. It comes from building capabilities. So the first step in going from 0 to success in a firm is to avoid the competition trap. Virtually ignore what your competition is doing. Now, that's tough for me. I love competition. I love looking at what they're doing and trying to reverse engineer that and figure out a way that we can use that. But I've done that so much, and I don't think I've got a lot of great results from doing that. But we have seen great results in our firm from focusing internally and building our own capabilities. And even though competition, it's so important to success of a family law firm. And in fact, it's part of our DNA as a firm. One of our values is compete with a warrior spirit. And we talk about that, we celebrate that every month in our practice, but it can be misplaced when it's focused obsessively on what our competition is doing. Because what happens is if we're constantly monitoring our competition, we're not focused on our own firm and improving that. We're comparing billing rates, or we're comparing websites, or we're worrying about losing clients to that competition. When in reality, the best way to have the future we want is to create that future. And we've done that at our practice with fixed fee, for example. We've created a super efficient system for clients and for our attorneys with fixed fee. And we would not have done that if we are focused on what all of our competition is doing. If family law firms focus constantly on what their competitors are doing, you end up looking like your competitors. I remember one time I got my motorcycle license, And if I remember nothing from that experience of going through the class of getting my motorcycle license, is that the instructor kept saying over and over, what you look at, you will move toward. So when you're driving your motorcycle, look to where you want to go, and that's where your motorcycle will go. If you look to the side, you will find yourself veering out of the lane. And that is absolutely true. What we focus on, where we put our attention, is where we go. And if we put our attention on our competitors and think about them all the time, we will end up doing what they're doing, looking like they look like, and end up being trapped in mediocrity of everyone mimicking each other, which ultimately reduces overall marketplace value, okay? Because now you don't have any differentiation. Everyone looks the same, and it deflates value in a marketplace, in family law in particular. It's called competitive convergence. It's a concept that describes this phenomenon where law firms, when they do the same thing, all employing the same strategies and practices and billing methodologies, and all of that looks the same, you don't have competitive differentiation. And so the value, your margins shrink across the board. Everyone's margins shrink whenever you don't have that differentiation, because it's harder for clients to distinguish between firms. And so ultimately, it reduces profitability for everyone. Hello, Jeff here. My team and I have built a family law practice resource website at jsterlinghughes.com. That's jsterlinghughes.com. And it is loaded with all kinds of information and downloads and educational content to help you build the family law practice of your dreams. So if you haven't, please go to my website, subscribe to the newsletter, and I promise each week I'll send you valuable content that will help you build a beautiful law firm, as well as share with you news and developments happening around the United States that impact the practice of family law. Okay, number 2, focus internally. The real breakthrough comes when we turn our attention inward and focus as a firm or as a sole practitioner on building capabilities. There is no question in my mind that capability-focused leaders of family law firms outperform defensive competitors every single day of the week. If you're constantly watching your competitors, you have a defensive mindset, not an offensive mindset. You're not offensively looking to build capabilities and specialties and new services and innovations for your client. You're focused on defending what you believe is yours, or maybe what you believe your competitors are about to do. Now, I will recognize and I will point out that this requires discipline to stay that way. It is so easy to begin to drift over and watch what your competitors are doing. I find myself every once or twice a year, like one day I'll just do a search. Like, oh my goodness, that firm is doing this now. I had no idea. Or they've added so many more attorneys. I didn't know about that. On net, that's a positive. I don't really need to know that. Now, occasionally I will certainly look at their websites, and occasionally I find an idea or two that maybe we want to modify and do at our firm. And that's what everyone does, and you should do that. But there's a difference between finding or watching what your competitors are doing occasionally and focusing obsessively on what they're doing. As we in our firm begin to shift, or at least I did as the leader, begin to shift my mindset away from this defensive, holding my resources tight mindset and watching what my competitors were doing, to that of building firm capabilities. Here's what happened. Our firm has built out this capacity across the firm, across a whole team of people with many moving pieces, of being able to sell and deliver on fixed fee services. That's hard to do. That's very difficult to do. It's taken us years to get there. But now we've got that capability. We have built a recruiting capability that is really exceptional. We have no problem recruiting into our practice. And I hear lots of other attorneys express challenges in that particular area. We've created an operational efficiency within our practice with the use of teammates overseas, with the use of our teammates that are here in the US, and working together at a high level of efficiency. That capability serves us well from a cost management standpoint and from an operational delivering standpoint as well. It's delivering our service. Our financial acumen up and down the firm has improved. Over time, that capability has improved and has certainly made everyone stronger if we all have an understanding of how the finances work together. Our client service has certainly improved. Over the last 5 to 6 years, we have significantly improved that in the last 3 years in particular, because we measure that and we can tell you exactly how our scores have improved over these years. And now we're trying to work out and build out the capacity of AI and within our firm, AI skills, AI usage of tools, and building a service right now around AI and using that to deliver the service. So we're building that capability now. It's certainly not there. So number 2, focus internally. If you focus on building capabilities, that is where you will go. Okay, the third one, the final one here is look forward with an abundance mindset. We operate our firm with a growth mindset, meaning we understand that we don't play in a zero-sum game. In fact, 65% of family law litigants don't hire an attorney. Why is that? I think it's because a great majority of them can't afford the majority of the services. So that's one thing. That's probably 50 of the 65%. Just that hiring attorneys is so difficult. It's out of reach for them. There is a sizable number of those who choose not to hire an attorney who do have the financial resources or have access to the financial resources that they can do that. So why do they not do it? My belief is they don't see the value. So if we can create services that demonstrate the value, we can increase the size of the family law pie. That's logical. That can certainly happen. And certainly if we can create services for those who don't have the financial resources to hire an attorney today, boy, you can really do a lot with that, because that's a big market out there that is not served today. So when you have an abundance growth mindset, you can then find those opportunities. You're not worried about, well, if I get a client, that means someone else didn't get that client, or if that firm got the client, then I didn't. That's the zero-sum game thinking. So instead of focusing on that, focus on how can I create a bigger pie for all of us, for our firm and for all of us. That will yield a much better financial return. So that's one of the things our firm is focused on today right now, is how can we build services for that part of the market who currently is not hiring attorneys today. And I believe that at the end of the day, that family law firms that focus on new market creation versus competitive benchmarking against their competitors will achieve a significantly higher profit and growth potential. So those 3 things will enable you to ignore your competition and build a firm around capabilities and fresh thinking and creating new markets that will generate for you a higher return financially and do a better service for your clients and for your team. Give them more security. I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. If you found this video valuable, and if it added value to your family law practice, you're definitely going to watch this next video that I did on leveraging constraints to build your family law firm. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you over there.